So this right here is my third person character blueprint. I'll go ahead and zoom in and show you what it is exactly, but this is the size of it. And over here is the code that we had from lecture and videos that we had to implement for the game. So we didn't really touch much over here. It's just basic input stuff for different controllers. This is a VR thing that we didn't. And then over here, this is load save game, and then save game. I mean, delete save game. And then there's an interact button. But over here is the main kind of branch, if you will, that is one of the more important ones in the third person character. And that's because it sets a lot of the variables that we use in this blueprint. As you can see, it's setting current magic, creating widgets, and getting actors, that kind of thing, to set all these variables so we could call them later. Yeah, it's not the most organized or laid out thing, but it gets the job done and it does it well. So over here, and that's just because I didn't organize it. I just place stuff everywhere. I need to be more organized, but yeah. Over here we have our sprint logic. This is all stuff that I implemented, so everything in this dark gray is my work that I implemented on my own. So this is the sprint logic. It's pretty simple. So it's saying if on triggered, if the player's on triggered, set sprinting to true. And if the current stamina is less than or equal to 0, set the walk speed to 600, which is our base walk speed that we will be using throughout the level. And then if current stamina is more than 0, set walk speed to 1000. So this is our new run speed. And then we have this current stamina. We're setting this current stamina right here. And on triggered seconds, we're going to multiply that by the drain rate. So when we do that and we subtract current stamina by stamina, drain rate, and seconds, we're going to get our new current stamina that we want um, to drain the actual value. And then down here, we have a press E for line trace. This is what we use to display the widgets that say press E on the door or the key. And we have the sprint regen code right here. So this is what allows um, the stamina value to regenerate, and it does that on every tick. So when current stamina is less than or equal to 100, which is always, it's going to check if the character is sprinting, and if the character is not sprinting, we're going to increase current stamina. But we're going to do that by multiplying stamina increase rate by elapsed seconds. Then we're going to add current stamina to that to get our current stamina that we want to use. Kind of convoluted, but it makes sense. Trust me. Over here is our press E interaction code. So this is the actual code that moves the doors when you press E. It's just a basic line trace by channel, and it has a hit result with 2 actor tags saying if it's big door or big door 1, we are going to cast to that actor and then play the timeline and add the location to big door or big door 1. So yeah, not too complicated, but it gets the job done. And over here we have basically the exact same layout for the line trace, but instead we are doing it for widgets. So I probably could have just added it onto the end here, but it just made it more comfortable for my brain to separate it. So that's why I did that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the third person character. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the encounter tool next. So over here we have everything that is inside of the encounter tool. Now, all of this code inside of here was done in lecture and in lab and via videos. So none of this was my own like original code right here. Um, I oh wait no, there is a little bit of original code. I implemented some stuff for the magic system that is late that I'll later introduce. So we're starting off by setting a player reference by casting and getting player character. From there, we are turning off combat messages from the previous turn to let the player know that it's their turn. Resetting any combat booleans or parameters, and we set up a enum here. So this is our player choice. So whenever you click a button, this is going to be what determines the code. So this is our attack logic over here that basically checks for hit or miss, displays a UI message, and begins a attack roll. So the attack roll gets a random integer from the maximum value of 50, sets it to attack damage, and then we also have a attack bonus scale. So we set the attack bonus scale, multiply by 0.01 by our P attack value. And then from there, we set an attack bonus amount. So this is a variable that'll hold our bonus scale and attack damage. So attack damage times bonus scale equals attack bonus amount. And then we have a finalized damage area over here. So attack damage plus attack bonus damage, round that into an integer, set it for finalized damage. You're going to get enemy damage modifier, which is a function that I'll show you in a second. And we have that output going into this random integer, setting the maximum range to whatever this is and a minimum of 0. So then setting a finalized enemy defense mod, which is what get we get enemy damage mod in here. We're setting that to max, and then we're setting our finalized one here. And then we are setting our finalized damage. And we are taking our finalized damage minus finalized enemy defense mod, setting it. And there is a branch here that basically says if finalized damage is less than or equal to 0, finalized damage is 0, and set the text on the screen to say no damage. From there, we go to the apply damage section of the code, and also on the false of this branch, apply damage. So we are setting health to finalized damage. Setting health to health minus finalized damage on the spawned enemy, and then we're rounding that to an integer. A text to an integer, setting that text, and then we are applying that damage through the code. So on top of that, I added this little bit right here that is for the magic system that sets current magic. So basically, you get your current magic plus a random float from 10 to 25, and that's going to set your damage for your magic. On defense, I know this is not going to set damage. This is going to replenish the magic. So this is our magic replenishment little bit of code here. So I didn't want to do it on like an item pickup or anything. I wanted it to be a part of the combat to make it a little bit more interesting. So you can't just spam attack or magic. You have to either pick attack or defense to increase your magic by a different amount. And it just lends itself better to a little bit more complicated combat. It's not too much more complicated, of course, but it adds a little bit. So from attack, we then move on to defend if the player chooses defend. If player defends, we get the character. We set defend bonus by getting P defense times 2. And then we set our player to defending. Then from there, we set the player status UI. So we get players in defense stance. and we set our magic amount. So this is the increased amount that we use when we defend. Um, I want defend to be around 40. Changing it live. Yeah, these are going to give you different amounts um, based on which one you pick to like benefit better. So that is it for defense on the player turn. And then we are checking for, and then on item, we're checking. Oh, wait, no. On item, we also set the current magic. So we are subtracting current magic from the drain rate to set current magic. Check for hit or miss, display the UI message, and then set attack damage to a random value. Then we finalize the damage by rounding it, and then we set health of the enemy uh, to whatever that new value is, and then we turn that into a text that can be read. Green. So yeah, that is item. And then we have the magic system. Wait, no, this is the magic system. I think. Yeah, this is that. This is the magic system. I'm so sorry. Um. So yeah, and then this is the item code. This is basically the exact same thing that we did in lab. So that is everything in F player turn. I'll go ahead and show you the event graph first because that is what I intended to do. This is literally the exact same thing except I actually no, I don't know if I changed anything. No, we have not changed anything in the base event graph. I don't. Actually, no, we added this F enemy turn. I don't know. It's been a while. Um, so no, we didn't add enemy turn. We added get enemy damage. But this is our construction script. I haven't changed anything in this. And this is enemy turn. Um, I had to add the defense stuff in here, so we did that through the lectures and stuff like that. So turn off combat messages, reset any booleans, randomly pick a choice from the enum, and then check for hit or miss, display message. This is our code for basic attack damage roll for the the enemy. And then this finalizes the damage and applies the damage. Down here, we added the enemy defend logic, and we set the enemy combatant stats status UI to say that the enemy is in defensive stance. Yeah, that is enemy turn. And then this is get enemy damage modifier. So this is checking to see is enemy defending. If true, set damage mod, which is this over here. We made a new variable so that we can plug it into this. So set damage mod on true, and then on false, we are setting the damage mod again of the spawned enemy. Yeah. And I believe that is it for the encounter tool. Finally, we have the game manager, and I don't believe I changed anything in this. So I'm just going to show you what I have in case I did change something. If not, I apologize. So this is the begin play stuff. This is for when the actor overlaps or the player overlaps with trigger boxes, I believe. Yeah. Um, and then over here, this is talking about restoring save states. We set up the player stats over here. Check status for death levels, etc. over here. And then over here, I believe this is like the one thing I did add was this to do better game over. Just add a custom event called game over and put a quit game here. And that can be called wherever. But yeah, and then we have run level update or run level up function if needed. We don't have any of that implemented, but this is level up. Race, game message, display game message, check for level. And the construction script and warnings. So yeah, that is everything for the game manager.